Starting the world for the first time, I got a great look at someone's insides and this abomination of skin. Then came the rat race for materials and a spot to set up. I found spruce, dark oak, jungle, and collected saplings and other growable items from each biome that I might be able to sell in the future. At this point, someone had found a village close to spawn and I decided to go check it out. As I came over the hillside, I saw a beautiful cherry village stacked with farms, animals, and villagers. By the time I had entered the village, one of the players had died and was at spawn, preventing us from sleeping. I tried my best to keep the villagers alive, but most were already dead. While exploring the village, I came across Poof at his peak performance. Yes, that's his peak. I found a compass and a chest. Make sure to remember this compass in specific, and pick a house to settle for the night. I set my stuff down and planted all the saplings I had gathered earlier. Then the next morning, I saw a villager farming beets. He didn't make it. With Poof too stunned to do anything, I moved on and met with some others on the server. Introducing Death Angel 0004, a bright pink skin and bone cyclops. With its singular eye, it enjoys big, buff, black men, and dungeons. Enter the mining arc. At this point in time, people were starting to gather resources below the surface, and I was no exception. So I made a mine next to my current house. Almost right away, I mined into a large ravine and found many needed resources. And copper. Lots of copper. This early on, copper isn't a resource super worth getting. However, in the future, it will make me a fortune, so I set a few blocks out to oxidize. That's when I decided to mine some wood. Unfortunately, the territory was claimed. So I went back to the mines. Lucky enough, I found diamonds. A lot of diamonds. And I wasn't even that deep in the mines. Back home, a monster decided to sleep in my bed, ruining it, so I went back to spawn to retrieve our final player, that one guy. As I approached, I found him held up in a tree, so I gave him a handful of my meat and escorted him home. When we got back, he was thankful for the safety and security of our village, and he set off to start his journey. Once people were more set up, they started making simple bases and farms, including a villager breeding pit to salvage any surviving villagers. I found an upside-down house that supposedly belongs to someone named Harry, a sex dungeon, and a beautiful house with lots of detail. From there, I set up an interview room for weekly updates from the players. Let's check in and meet them now. Hey there!
Hello, hello.
You want to introduce yourself?
Pop Rocks is our marshal.
As long as this isn't being filmed.
Yes, this is going on national television.
Oh,
My name is Molchi.
Molchi?
Yes.
I'm Poof. But people call me Poof the Dude. And I'm a scary guy, as you can see.
You mind if I ask you a few questions?
oh, of course.
What are some things you're excited for in the server?
Allowing God's light to enter everyone, to just come into everyone's life. I think it is a good opportunity to have God come.
Do you want God to come, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think God's light coming into everyone is a wonderful thing. God comes in me all the time. I'm sorry.
Would you consider yourself a builder or a miner?
I'm neurodivergent. I'm a builder. I'm a builder, I think.
What inspires you?
God.
God doing anything in particular, or just God as a whole?
God's whole.
I like watching you at night. Besides your bed and looking you through the window while you sleep.
What are some things that you're excited for in this server?
Eating mulch.
What inspires your gameplay?
I don't know, I like to frolic. I don't ever really have a goal in mind. I just run around and see whatever gets my attention, and then a new project starts from there.
Who's your favorite among the group?
That's a tough one. I'd say probably Pop Rocks.
Who's your favorite among the group so far?
I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Plague guy. I can confidently say that I'm afraid of one of them.
You mind elaborating?
Do you know what a mont is?
Who's your least favorite among the group?
Oof.
And why's that?
He seemed like a fine chap. Fine fellow. But, I sat down, and he asked me to take off my shoes.
What inspires me? Looking at people's feet pics.
The only thing I take off clothes for is God.
Who would make the best mayor? Do you think that would be you to fit into the village?
I don't think I would make for the best mayor. I've got a while to go before I think I get to a position of that sort of power.
I would answer Pop Rocks, but, now don't tell anyone I said this. But, the fellow isn't very good at keeping himself alive.
Who would make the best mayor?
Mont.
What do you have to say about the villager breeding pit allegations and the way it's affected the population and well-being of local villagers across the server?
Well, I founded it, and I'm proud of it. So, if anyone has any problems with the villager breeding pit, they need to take it up with me.
So you're
That's
proud of
something.
villager trafficking?
No, it's not
So
trafficking.
you're proud of forced breeding? One last question for you. What are you hiding?
Only God knows.
Well, that concludes our interview. Thank you so much for coming in.
Of course.
Yeah, and then if I could just get a walk off from you, that'd be great too. With all the interviews completed, that'll conclude week number 1. Please enjoy some B-roll footage I have of our beautiful town, and I will see you next week.